There is no light in this bleak, oppressive world that has been crafted by developer Zelart. Well, there's actually some light. I mean, it would be kind of hard to see otherwise, but just as the title implies, There Is No Light is a grim, Souls-like action RPG that is absolutely captivating, with a haunting narrative focused on the remnants of a ruined world, compelling combat that has you cycling through 4 different weapons, and well over 25 hours of gameplay. This is not just another Souls game. Deciphering the storyline of There Is No Light is perhaps a puzzle in itself. You'll begin the game by selecting between 2 different game modes. The Warrior mode offers up the stiffest of difficulties, while Traveler acts something like an easy mode, though still manages to feel challenging enough for casual players. If you do opt for the Traveler mode, you'll be given access to more med kits, have to deal with less enemies, and you won't have to worry so much about the game's karma system, but more on that later. Right from the game's opening cutscene, wherein a dead body comes crashing through your tent, we are whisked into a violent tale that touches on themes of love, death, and religion, just to name a few. What may initially seem like your typical get revenge for the annihilation of your village tale ends up exploring deeper subject matter, and while often cryptic and perhaps a bit confusing at times, the narrative kept me firmly invested in this tale throughout, whether it was your demon friend constantly on your shoulder, yapping profanities in your ear and making Tim Allen grunt sounds, or villagers desperately pleading for any signs of hope. The world building in There Is No Light is astounding and not for the faint of heart. This disturbing narrative is even further fleshed out by the game's built-in karma system that I touched on earlier. Certain conversations will lead to different outcomes depending on which way you go with them, and this can have real effects on the in-game world. This game really gave me Legacy of Kain vibes the more and more I played it, and that's a good thing as it's one of my favorite PSX games. But the combat here is not quite as straightforward as it was in that title. Here you'll have a shard meter that can be built up as you dish out damage, and unleashing an ability when the bar is filled up will grant you restorative health. As you would expect, you have med kits that can be activated to restore health as well. However, these are quite limited, so take heed. This is not an easy game at all on the warrior difficulty setting. Yes, mowing down these demons isn't going to be as easy as slashing away at them, though I often wished it had been. Enemies will have markers above their heads. A yellow marker will mean that your basic attacks won't be enough, so you'll need to break through their defenses by charging your rage meter and striking them with your weapon's special attack. I commend the game for attempting something a bit new, but at the same time, I think the developer may have overthought things just a bit. So many times I just wanted to dash out of the way of foes. There is a nice dash in this game, strike them with my attacks, and not have to worry so much about the symbol above their head. The combat can be so thrilling and exhilarating at times, it's a shame to see it is a bit bogged down by this system, especially when you're dealing with other environmental objects like beams of light trying to destroy you. It led to many frustrating deaths that unfortunately meant losing a portion of the experience that I had earned. Thankfully, on the game's secondary difficulty, you don't have to worry about that aspect so much, but still, I think a more straightforward approach to the combat would have ultimately felt a bit more satisfying. On the subject of gaining experience, you do have a skill tree in There Is No Light, and it's pretty massive. I played the game for 5 hours before I even unlocked my second weapon, and each weapon leads to more skills that can be learned. Maxing this tree will be no easy task, but as frustrating as losing experience could be, if you do fill your XP gauge up once, you'll keep that number, or what the game refers to as death essence. This does stockpile. Dying is also not a complete loss, as the game does a pretty good job of allowing players to pick up from that spot, and also features a well-implemented travel system that makes getting around this world quite easy even without a map. Sometimes the game even pitied me a little bit. Yes, if you take a certain amount of deaths, you can make a trade from time to time, some of your karma for an additional potion, or a gate that will make your travels even easier. I definitely appreciate that the developer was open-minded about making this a game that more casual players can still enjoy, even on the warrior difficulty, but yeah, it's tough. You see this battle here? I did this for probably about 35 minutes. Fuck this battle. Actually, exploring this well-crafted world is a real treat, as subtle symbols and icons nudge you in the right direction without holding your hand entirely. It's a gorgeously crafted world that comes together well. I found it brilliant and endlessly exciting to explore. Visually, There Is No Light is one of the more jaw-dropping titles I've played this year. Blood-soaked caves, eerie churches, and captivating creature designs are astounding throughout. Each new area brought with it outstanding lighting, art direction, and animations. This world is so oppressive and yet has a dark beauty to it. I was astounded at how many different environments the game featured, as so often I find titles that rehash and recycle the same areas time and time again. And while you'll certainly backtrack a bit, the sheer volume and abundance of different areas kept things feeling fresh. To help bring this grim fantasy world to life even further is a superb sound design. Moans and groans, echoing halls, and subtle pianos are littered across your adventure. In crowds, you'll hear voices coming from every direction to stunning effect. It's very unsettling. Whether you're taking on a boss, exploring a village, or working your way through one of the game's dungeon areas, There Is No Light looks and sounds masterful on almost every level. It's a shame then that I did suffer from a few frame rate skips here or there, mainly while traversing through different areas and not so much in the combat. These occasional dips were a minor nuisance. It almost felt like a pacing issue of some kind, but nothing here was game breaking, and hopefully it can all be remedied in a future patch. As cool as I thought this game looked, I ultimately did fear the worst and anticipated yet another get good game where I'd be stuck on one boss for 6 hours, but There Is No Light instead delivers one of the best gaming experiences of the year. The obtuse storytelling and dialogues kept me invested, and while I would have preferred a more basic combat system, things do open up a bit and get far more interesting when you're finally able to unlock those weapons. For those that crave a Souls-like challenge, it's here, but more casual players won't have to feel left out either. The visuals are engrossing, as is the sound design, and it all comes together to create a long, haunting, and harrowing journey that easily earns the golden genie lamp of approval. Don't get caught in the dark, and be sure to grab this one.
Ugh.